You spent 10 grand on a motorcycle, but your helmet habits leave much to be desired. Most riders are one bump away from disaster and don't even know it. Wearing the wrong lid, strapping it wrong, cleaning it never. And the worst part is they think they're doing it right. Where do you fall? What habits can't you break? Are you sure you need a helmet in the first place? This video ranks 8 helmet habits, from totally brainless to absolutely brilliant. In fact, number 4 is a complete shocker. Let's get into it. Number 8, the mirror hanger. You've seen it. Heck, maybe you've done it. That helmet hanging from the bike's mirror like it's part of the paint job. It's pristine, never scratched, never dropped. Why? Because it's never actually been worn. This rider swears it's just a short ride, or I'm not going fast, but that's the trap. Most fatal motorcycle accidents don't happen on highways. They happen on side streets, parking lots, and neighborhood roads, usually within 5 miles of home. This habit is dangerous. A helmet isn't a good luck charm. It's not a suggestion. It's the only thing standing between your skull and the asphalt when life throws the unexpected at you. A squirrel, an oil patch, a texting driver. It doesn't take much. And guess what? The rider who hangs their helmet is usually the first to blame the bike or the brakes when they hit the deck. But here's the thing. Wearing a helmet is the easy part. What comes next is what separates the pretenders from the truly protected. Because some riders do wear their helmet. They just wear it so loose it's barely holding on. You might think this is very bad, but there are many worse cases. Number 7, the wobble wearer. You know the look, helmet on, chin strap clipped, but the whole thing wobbles like a dashboard bobblehead. This rider thinks they're protected. Sadly, they're not. A helmet should fit like a firm handshake. Snug, even pressure all around. No shifting when you turn your head or bend forward. But the wobble wearer picks whatever's on sale, ignores sizing charts, and figures, as long as it's on, I'm good. Here's the truth. In a crash, a loose helmet can twist, slip, or even fly off completely. That means the exact moment you need it, it fails. During impact, the forces at play are violent. If your helmet isn't secured tightly on your head, it becomes a projectile, not protection. And if it shifts even a little, the foam won't absorb the energy in the right spots. Your skull takes the hit directly. We've seen riders walk away from nasty wrecks because their helmets stayed locked in place. We've also seen riders with worn helmets suffer worse injuries than guys who weren't wearing one at all. That's the reality. And if you think that sounds bad, wait until you meet the next habit, because some riders do wear their helmet snug, but they choose to leave something else wide open, their entire face. Number 6, the half committer. Half helmet, sunglasses, wind in the beard. To the half committer, that's freedom. But let's be honest, what type of freedom is it if your jaw is the crumple zone? The rider is halfway there. They wear a helmet, sure, but only the kind that covers the top of the skull. No chin bar, no full face protection. Why? They tell you it's cooler. Lighter, looks better, but looks don't save your life at 50 miles an hour. A guy in my riding group, name's Daryl, wore one of those classic half helmets with the goggles and bandana. He laid his bike down avoiding a deer one night. Slid maybe 20 feet, not even fast. His head was fine.
He did this test to show if you buy a cheap helmet, your head will be cooked if you get run over. If you buy a good helmet, only your jaw will get smushed in.
But his jaw was crushed against the pavement. He lost 7 teeth and half his chin. Spent 6 months on liquid meals. Now he wears a full face every ride and doesn't care how uncool it looks anymore. Here's what most half committers forget. The most common point of impact in a motorcycle crash is the chin. Not the top of the head, not the back, the face, and especially the jaw. Takes the hit when you go over the bars. We're talking about shattered teeth, broken mandibles, facial reconstruction, and all because a rider wanted to feel the breeze on their cheeks. That's not just a risk, that's a bet, and the house always wins. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I wear a full face helmet, I'm good. But the truth is, even full protection means nothing if the helmet isn't secured. Because the next mistake riders make, it's simple, it's common, and it turns a perfectly good helmet into a flying chunk of plastic the moment things go wrong. If this is hitting a little too close to home, you're not alone. Go ahead and smack that like button. If you're the kind of rider who wants fewer hospital bills and more miles, quickly hit subscribe. Number 5, the chain strap flapper. The helmet's on, it looks right in photos, but the chin strap's dangling in the wind like it's optional. This rider thinks they're safe because the helmet is sitting on their head. But safety doesn't work halfway. The chin strap is the anchor. Without it, that helmet is just a fancy hat.
Is make sure that your strap, before you even go to secure it, is always straight. You're gonna go through both loops first and pull it tight. And then when you're gonna come back through, you're only gonna go through one hoop. You're gonna separate it with your fingers and then come through the hoop that's closest to you. You're gonna pull that tight and that should get it snug. And then there's gonna be a little button here on the end that's gonna clip right back up to the strap, just like that. And voila, you're secure.
In an accident, momentum doesn't care what looks cool. If your head hits the pavement at speed, the helmet will launch off unless it's strapped snugly under your jaw. And when that happens, you're bareheaded when it matters most. Even at 25 miles per hour, the impact force is enough to cause skull fractures, brain bleeds, or worse, all because someone couldn't be bothered to click a buckle. And there's more. Some of the worst injuries happen with helmets that come off mid-crash. You don't just lose protection, you lose any chance of walking away clean. There's a reason racing helmets go through chin bar stress testing. It's the strap that keeps everything in place when your world turns upside down. But even if you wear a full face, strap it tight and ride smart, your helmet might still be a silent threat because there's one thing most riders never check. It's invisible. It doesn't make noise, but it could mean your helmet is already expired. Looks fine, right? Clean paint, no cracks, strap still intact, but this helmet is living on borrowed time. Most riders don't realize that helmets have a shelf life, about 5 years from the date of manufacture. Not from the day you bought it, from the day it rolled off the factory line. Because helmet materials degrade over time. UV rays break down the shell. Sweat and oils weaken the inner foam. Temperature changes, humidity, and even just sitting on a shelf, it all adds up. And once those materials weaken, the helmet's ability to absorb impact disappears. You don't feel it, you don't see it, but the next time your head hits the pavement, that expired shell might as well be made of cardboard. This is the guy who says, "It's still in great condition." Yeah, and so was that old tire that blew out doing 70. And the worst part is that some manufacturers don't even put expiration dates where you can see them. You have to check inside, under the liner or on the tag for the manufacture date. 5 years, that's your window. The helmet might still look clean, might still smell fresh, but if it's expired, it's done.
Pull it out and take a look inside the padding. Depending on the brand, you should be able to find the manufacturing date. This helmet was produced in February 2023.
Now, even if your helmet's new and secure, there's another mistake riders make. They keep it clean, but they forget what clean really means. Number 3, the weekend cleaner. This rider takes pride in their gear. Helmet gleaming, visor spotless, no road grime in sight. Every Saturday morning, it's the same ritual. Spray bottle, microfiber cloth, armor all on the shell. The helmet looks showroom fresh when they're done. But here's what the weekend cleaner misses. They're only cleaning what they can see. Inside that pristine shell, sweat, oils, and bacteria are building up like a toxic soup. The EPS foam's breaking down from the inside out. The liner is rotting. And those comfort pads, they're harboring enough germs to start their own ecosystem. A buddy of mine, Jake, was obsessed with keeping his helmet spotless on the outside. Spent 20 minutes every weekend polishing that thing. But he never touched the interior. After 2 years, the foam started crumbling. The pads were so saturated with sweat, they'd actually hardened. When he finally crashed, minor loci in a parking lot, the helmet cracked like an eggshell, not from the impact, but because the materials had degraded from neglect. A helmet that's clean on the outside but rotten on the inside is worse than no helmet at all, because you think you're protected when you're actually wearing a decoration, but even a perfectly maintained helmet means nothing if you can't get a proper fit. Number 2, the fit checker. This rider doesn't guess. They don't just throw on a helmet and hit the road. They treat every ride like it matters, because it does. The fit checker understands that protection isn't just about having a helmet, it's about wearing it right. Before the key even turns, they're checking the fit. Snug around the crown, cheek pads pressing firm. No shifting when they turn their head. No lift when they pull up the chin bar. They know a good helmet feels tight at first. Almost too tight, but that's how it's supposed to be. Because loose equals lethal. They test the seal. They tighten the strap. They do a roll test. Head down, shake side to side. That helmet is not going anywhere. This rider doesn't care what brand is trending. They care about performance. Their helmet is part of the ritual, part of the ride. And if something feels off, they stop and fix it. The fit checker doesn't wear their helmet for the cops or for the look. They wear it to stay alive and to ride another day. But there's one level above this. A rider who's not just precise, they're obsessed with the data. They follow the crash tests. They choose their gear like a soldier chooses armor.
Usually it's pretty obvious if a helmet is too tight or on the other side too loose, but best case scenario, I would say try on as many different options as you can. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to a gearhead because they know a lot about sizing.
This rider is the gold standard. And once you see what they do, you'll never settle for good enough again. Number 1, the DataDriven Rider. This is the rider everyone should aim to be. Not flashy, not trendy, just unshakably smart. The DataDriven Rider treats helmet safety like a science, because it is. They don't wear a helmet because the law says so. They wear one because they've studied the numbers. They read the crash data. They know what happens at 35 miles an hour when your head hits concrete, and they prepare for that. DOT certified, that's the floor. They go for Snell, ECE, or FIM tested lids, the ones that survive brutal impact simulations. They research liner materials, rotational impact ratings, shell types. They replace their helmet every 5 years, even if it still looks perfect. Why? Because they know that safety has a clock, and they don't wait for it to run out. They log helmet drops. They inspect their gear monthly. They even follow recalls and manufacturing updates, because when it comes to their brain, they don't gamble. This rider is often the one walking away from crashes that leave others bleeding. They're not lucky, they're prepared. And the best part, they don't brag about it. They just ride smarter, longer, and safer than most people ever will. So if you want to keep riding for decades, not just weeks, this is the rider you become. Rapid recap. All right, let's rewind it. Mirror hanger, helmets just for looks. Wobble wearer, loose lid, zero safety. Half committer, cool face, cracked jaw. Chin strap flapper, one bump and it's flying. Expired shell guy, looks new, works like mush. Weekend cleaner, shiny outside, rotten inside. Fit checker, snug, locked in, ready. And finally, the data-driven rider. Certified, updated, and riding like they actually want to survive. Where do you stand? Drop your helmet habit in the comments and tag a buddy who still wears his lid like a beanie at a biker rally. Ride safe, ride sharp. Like our video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.